Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want us to head directly to Kiambu. Politics, the county politics is emerging as the next battlefront for the presidential contenders. Both Kenya Kwanza and Azimio la Umoja have very difficult questions to ask, to answer in different counties. In Kitui, Charity Ngili is vying through NAK Kenya, which is part of Azimio. David Musila is a Jubilee candidate, governor candidate there, facing off with Malombe, who is for Wiper. Mombasa has Nasir, ODM, and Mike Sonko, Wiper. Mike Sonko might be wiped away. So interesting bit is Kiambu and the negotiations at Karen that have been shared by William Ruto for now the last 2 weeks have failed to bear fruits. 6 candidates has emerged, actually I understand there are 7, have emerged seeking to get that seat from James Nyoro. And these candidates, some of them were part of the Kenya Kwanza team, and some then are not part of the Kenya Kwanza team. Patrick Wainaina Wajango, the former Thika MP, who allegedly lost in the nominations, is going as an independent candidate, and he has picked a running mate known as Ann Nyokabi, who was the former women rep of Kiambu. Actually, I think was the first women rep of Kiambu, and is a cousin to President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Moses Kuria, through Chama Chakazi, member of the Kenya Kwanza team, has picked Faith Gitau, if I'm not wrong, I need to confirm, yes, Faith Mwaura, real estate expert, as her running mate. He's vying through Chama Chakazi. Kibani Wamatangi has picked Rosemary Njeri from Gatundu South, from Moses Kuria's home village, as the running mate. Then we also have James Nyoro. James Nyoro is the incumbent governor, and he also picked someone here. Yeah, he picked James. He picked Waweru Njambi from East. Now I'm going to explain a bit of that. Then Mwende Gatabaki, this is the wife to David Ndi, is vying through Safina Party, and the list is long. We also have Kabogo, who is vying through to Jibebe Party. So one thing is very interesting on the running mate. By the way, all the male aspirants in Kiambu are picking running mates, the female running mates. But this has been seen, I think, across board. Even in Nakuru, Susan Kihika picked a male. Then Mwende Gatabaki, the wife to David Ndi, picked the executive director of Safina Party, known as David Wanjohi. So because she's a woman, then she picked a man, but then the male candidates there picked the women. Now, one thing is emerging is this. There was also the politics of East and West. For example, Kabogo is coming from the East, the Ruiri side. Then he decided to pick the running mate from the West. And that's why he picked Esther Ndirangu. Esther Ndirangu was a minister in Kabogo's government, county government then, between 2013 to 2017. And she was in charge of education, actually early childhood education. That has really caught my attention. Then also, James Nyoro is from West. So James Nyoro has decided to pick a running mate from the East, because her running mate Njambi Waweru is from this other side of Kabogo side. Then Kimani Wamatangi has picked a running mate from Moses Kuria's village. Very interesting scenarios there. So the same, even Wajango has also picked a running mate from Moses Kuria's village, that is the Gatundu South. So ladies and gentlemen, negotiations for the Kenya Kwanza to get one candidate of Kenya Kwanza to face off with James Nyoro, who is the Jubilee candidate, or rather who is the Azimio candidate on the other side, has failed and has literally collapsed. As of yesterday, all the governor candidates picked their running mates and are committed to go to the ballot. So before I explain further, I want to just try to break down the scenarios that were on table for the negotiations to bear fruits and actually for them to arrive at one. The first was that Moses Kuria to defend, and Ruto, this was on Ruto's table, Moses Kuria to defend Gatundu's seat so that Wamatangi will run on UDA, then Kabogo will still be allowed to run on that Tujibebe party, or rather Wamatangi will find a way to find a truce between Wamatangi and Kabogo. Then that was number one. Number two, Kabogo demanded Deputy President to drop Wamatangi, to drop a governor candidate through UDA, so that the other constituent parties, like if you see the parties that are in Azimio, that are in Kenya Kwanza, it's Tujibebe and Chama cha Kazi, would be allowed to field the candidates. Then Moses Kuria and Kabogo will find a way they can work together to deliver the seat, but then that did not work. The reason why Kabogo was saying this is because of party, because they are supporting the presidential candidate through the UDA. That was the other one. Number two, Wamatangi Kuria ticket against Kabogo. A possibility where maybe Moses Kuria would accept deputize Wamatangi so that they take one heavy ticket against James Nyoro. Then the other option was Wamatangi to run and Kuria to go for the county speaker, to be picked as the county speaker. Then if Wamatangi will run, go for county speaker, then they will find a way they can work with Tujibebe. But again, Kabogo is determined to go all the way to the wire. And that is what has complicated the whole thing on how they are going through the Kiambu gubernatorial bid. So I want to delve deep and what is complicating the Kiambu race for Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. And literally, he has given up on those negotiations and he has allowed all of them to go to the wire and let the best candidate win. I want us to look at that. Kiambu County has a registered number of voters in the tune of 1 million. What Ruto has done is to sacrifice the bid for the governor to come through UDA, but to allow all the candidates to face off in the ballot so that it will actually prevent what can be perceived as voter apathy. So if all the presidential, if all the governor candidates that vying through Kenya Kwanza are on ballot, it means that people who support Kabogo are going to vote for Kabogo, are going to make sure they go to vote. People who support Wamatangi, people who support Moses Kuria, and even Wajango. So if you look at it interestingly, Patrick Wenene Wajango was a candidate and was actually through was back in UDA after he left over what he termed as unfulfilled promises. But when he came back, he was to be given the ticket. But the very day he came back, the same day that even Wamatangi came from the Senate, dropped from the Senate race, and then joined the governor's bid. So what William Ruto has done is to make sure that he can avert voter apathy. Because the 1.2 million voters in Kiambu is a very big basket that William Ruto wants to bank on. So he has allowed all these candidates to face off so that when they all go to vie, and when they all vie and they're supporting his candidature, he doesn't care on who is going to be the governor so long as all these candidates are supporting his candidature. And that is why he's in a very delicate situation not to make sure that he doesn't hurt Moses Kuria, he doesn't hurt Wamatangi, and he doesn't hurt Kabogo or even Wajango, who has a massive support from the thicker side. So that is the kind of sacrifice that has been done. And of course, in the course of probably tomorrow, I'll do another video on just something on between Wamatangi, or not Wamatangi, between Kabogo and Moses Kuria. Now, the other two, the ghosts of Jubilee nominations, ghost of 2017 against Kabogo is what is haunting those negotiations. William Kabogo believed, and this has been in public domain, that he won the nominations in 2017, but because of 2022 presidential ambitions, William Ruto sacrificed him, or rather rigged him out in favor of Ferdinand Waititu, who was then impeached. So according to Kabogo, he actually believes that because he won that nomination, was rigged out, it is his time to go and be supported. And what he would actually demand is that William Ruto to support his bid. I think even when he was coming in Kenya Kwanza, he was occupying the front seats. And he was given the stake. If you remember the event, the earthquake event on 23rd January, where Musalia Mudavadi was merging with William Ruto, Kabogo had a front seat. And after that event, he went again mute for like 2 months, then came back to Kenya Kwanza somewhere in mid-March. Then by that time he came in mid-March, that's when now he came and now took the front seat. I think his understanding, and he's been talking about a meeting they held with William Ruto in Dubai, but I think his understanding was that William Ruto was going to support his bid. But that did not work. And William Ruto arranged Nyeri, arranged perhaps Tharaka-Nithi, Meru, Embu, and all those other areas. So the feeling is this, that if they're allowed, if they go and allow negotiations so that maybe Kabogo steps down and the other person steps down, then wamepangwa. But they don't want to, they are the champions of Atupanguingi, so they all want to go to the ballot. Number 3 is James Nyoro, who is an incumbent governor, is the beneficiary of all this confusion at Kenya Kwanza. And I may not, it is not an understatement to estimate that he has an influence on what is happening on the Kenya Kwanza side. Let's look at one instance. Anne Nyokabi, who is the former women rep in Kiambu and is a deputy governor to one Wajango, is a cousin to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, Anne Nyokabi was vying through Jubilee Party and lost in the nominations because the nomination was given to Nyoro, and of course it was done in boardroom. So most probably, even Nyoro is also pushing these candidates, especially someone like Wajango. He can push Wajango and Nyokabi to go all through to the wire. And also, President Uhuru Kenyatta is a friend to William Kabogo. And he might be telling William Kabogo that you guys, make sure you hold on. You go all the way to the ballot. If you can maybe divide the votes and Nyoro gets the second term, then most likely in 2027, you can take over from James Nyoro. So my point here is that there is foreign infiltration of that negotiation by the Azimio side. And most probably and objectively, that could be the incumbent governor. Lastly, the Kiambu gubernatorial candidates were some of the contestants eyeing to be Uhuru Kenyatta's successor. So Uhuru Kenyatta's succession, or rather supremacy battle, is at the center of Kiambu governor's race. Moses Kuria initially came up with a strategy of attacking and abusing the president, and in his understanding, that was the plan for him to maybe then make sure that the king is naked and takes over the kingdom. But that is not sellable, because people then have said we need to do politics but not of insults. Then someone in the name of Kabogo also was a contestant in that. So what they believe is the next Kiambu governor might become the next presidential candidate or deputy candidate in 2027 if and when the Jubilee, when the Kenya Kwanza team do not form the next government. So it is just above the governor seat, but again, they want to be in the limelight. Kiambu County is the home to President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So even Kenyatta also has an interest who is going to be his governor. And you can see that even Nyoro picked the running mate from Moses Kuria's village. Wajango picked running mate from Moses Kuria's village. So this is something that is playing out. And I will literally ask, you just need to leave all of them to be on ballot, because anyway, even if Moses Kuria was to drop and Kabogo to drop, he's still going to face off with Gatabaki, Wajango, and some other 3, and there are also other independent candidates that wants to Kiambu to be in Kiambu to be Kiambu governor. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what it is, and you can tell us from Kiambu who is most likely going to win that seat. Is it Azimio side James Nyoro, or if it is the Kenya Kwanza team, who stands the best chance.